and welcome to Wolves World for episode 10 of the 5 in 5 series. 5 topics about Wolverhampton Wanderers in 5 minutes. Before I get started, please don't forget to hit like, subscribe and follow me on my other platforms, which are at NorthernWolf10 on Instagram and Twitter, and my website is www.wolvesworld.org, where I have lots of Wolves content including some written articles. Thank you. Point number 1, the switching of the flanks of Neto and Traore is something I've called out for months. Yes, we know Neto can do a lot of things at either side of the pitch, but for Traore he was becoming very predictable. Lots of fans, including myself, have been on his back, and it wasn't always his fault. I think he'd been poorly coached in recent times. But that switch of flanks allowed him to cut inside and be dangerous, getting onto his right, stronger foot. Now, while I'm still not convinced he's going to cut in and score the sort of goals maybe he did with his left foot against Palace, for instance, at least the opportunity for him when playing from the left is there to do that. And this could really change his game around, and the ability to swap those players in game numerous times will keep defenders on the toes and opposition managers guessing. If anyone picks up a booking, for example a fullback, then you get Traore on them, and you really just... it gives us more strings to our bow, and I think it's a fantastic opportunity now for Wolves to utilise this with what looks like our two strong and fit wingers, with Podence appearing to be out for a while. I think it's really important we capitalise on this particular tactic and keep switching those wings. Point number 2, that leads me on beautifully to Pedro Neto. Now, while it's easy for people to get carried away, including myself, I think we can see this kid is special. At 20 years old, he is already outperforming other superstars of his age, of his time at that age, including Cristiano Ronaldo, which is a great comparison at this stage to have. Of course, we know that the world of football is a tricky place with lots of ups and downs, and all we need to do is enjoy him for now. Let's let him be our best player, let's really build him up and give him the praise he deserves, but let's also try and keep his feet on the ground and keep him at our club. Yes, he just signed a big new deal, I think it was 5 years earlier this season, and that's fantastic. However, we want to see him at this club for at least I think 3 of those years, and he'll be needed to be a key player during that time, develop his game, get lots of minutes, hopefully goals, and see what happens. But that goal at the weekend was outstanding, and he's shown time and time again that without him this season, I really do worry for where Wolves would have found themselves in the league and how fans would have perceived their quite dull performances. So big up Pedro Neto, let's go, keep it up. Point number 3, what are the fans after right now? I feel it is a toss-up between points and performance. At the moment, Wolves' performances have been pretty poor. Even the game against Southampton, which we won, it was only really 35 minutes of the second half where we looked like a really good outfit. And I think we could say the same against Leicester. It was defensively organised, but it wasn't a great performance. And against Newcastle, it was another 45 minutes performance, and we spent majority of that time against 10 or 9 men. So I don't think the performances have been there recently, and there's not a lot that's showing a real significant upturn. However, the points tally of 7 in 9, if you keep that all up all year, you pretty much win the league. So let's just say that is a great return. With the next few games upcoming, I think there's 3 before we play Liverpool. I think they're all quite winnable, and they're all going to open themselves up to getting some points. All very different opposition, however. And it's for fans now to decide. Nuno's made a choice to prioritise the league by what he did in the FA Cup, which I'm still riding about, but anyway. But that he's been rewarded for that with the 3 points at Southampton. And I just think if Wolves want the points to maybe push to 7th, 8th place in the league, which might see them into some sort of European competition, then points is all we're after. And maybe for the rest of this season, we know we've been without Jimenez, we've had other injuries, we're a bit weak and low on depth. Let's just get as many points and see how we get on. We also are not going down, so the performances for me, I would rather see an upturn in performances now and see us finish maybe 10th to 12th, even if they don't all reward us with points. I just want to see us be a little bit more exciting, a little bit more forward thinking, and we'll see how we finish the season. Point number 4, the next 2 games of Leeds United and Newcastle offer 2 incredibly different prospects. One is a Leeds team who we know love a high scoring game, and right now I just can't see how Wolves could outscore a Leeds team. So do we go with a more defensive approach like we maybe did earlier in the season against them and come away with a 1-0 win, which on that day was even a little fortunate? Or do we really just throw caution to the wind now, knowing we're not going down, and absolutely just gung-ho battle end to end, maybe make an entertaining spectacle and see what happens? I'm not that bothered about a clean sheet, 'cause I'm not expecting one. I'd far rather us score 2, 3, maybe even 4 goals against a Leeds team that consistently concede and score. So that's one game there where I'm thinking I'd still like to come away with at least a point. I do think we should be looking to kick on and maybe get 3, but I think it's the manner in which we do it that will be interesting to see. Following that up with Newcastle, the exact opposite end of a spectrum. Newcastle struggled for goals recently, or in fact all season, and their main man Callum Wilson is out as well for a little while. They have got some players who have improved the team. Joe Willock, I think, has been a nice signing in his sort of first 2 glimpses of him. He looks alright. Shelvey's finding a bit of form, Almiron also, but really Newcastle are a team that Wolves should be, and have struggled to do recently in recent times, is rock up, beat and go home. But whether this happens in this game, I'm not sure. I think that one lends itself to a bit of a 0-0. I think Newcastle will know we're poor at scoring goals. They'll defend and try and keep the score down as low as possible, maybe snatching one for them. Wolves need to not do that. They need to go at them and see what they can get. 2 games upcoming where it could be 6 points or it could be another very disappointing 1 or none. So we'll have to see. Point 5. I do think Wolves have shown some slight upturns, as I mentioned in my earlier point. However, we are in some ways papering over a few of the cracks. There has been a lack of intensity recently, and I think there's been a lack of sort of effort and desire in certain areas and certain players on the pitch. All I want to see between now and the end of the season, which is essentially over in terms of what we can achieve apart from a higher position in the league, I just want to see that increased and increase it earlier in the game. Come out from the start, put in the hard work, and if you tire or you don't get your goal you deserve and you lose later on, I think the fans will appreciate a 45 minutes of real intensity to start a match. And that's what I want to see now, because there's definitely more we can do in that area. Because if you look at the teams around us, we're not lacking any class or quality. I think we've lacked a bit of intensity and maybe even a little bit of fitness, possibly with it being a long season last year might be catching up with them. But there is more we can do without looking elsewhere in the squad. So the first team that starts, the 11 players on the pitch, a little bit more effort from the get-go, and I think we'll come out with a more positive and better performance. That's all from me today. Thank you very much for watching 5 in 5 on Wolves World. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, share and comment, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at NorthernWolf10. See you again for episode 11. Bye bye.